Hey guys, Gabe Tape here, Big Man Comics Live. It's 11:02 Pacific Time, Monday, July 14th. I can't believe, man, you get older, the time just goes by so fast. I remember when I turned 17, I asked my grandma about it. I was telling her, it seems like the last year went by so quickly. And she said, yeah, as you get older, it just goes faster and faster and faster. It's crazy to me. The year's already 53, 54% over. I follow a Twitter account that says something about that. It updates every couple days about how far along the year is. You know what I mean? So welcome in. We are just a week and a half just a week and a half away from the San Diego Comic-Con. Hold up. I like Starbucks coffee. A lot of people say they don't like it. I think it's great, actually. I buy it at Costco. You know, if you just get the Kirkland Costco coffee, it's made by Starbucks. So you save money that way, actually. Let me see. I want to share something with you guys. I want to share something with you guys. Let me make sure there's no. Okay, here we go. So yeah, Big Man Comics, July 23rd through the 27th at booth 1705. That is the Big Man Comics booth. We got the booth. We're going all out this year. It's going to be awesome. We got a Tyrus, Unsolvable Tyrus preview comic. We are going to have Empyrean. We're going to, of course, still have copies of Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. We're going to have Nerdrotic is going to be there to autograph, and Chris and Alan from Film Thread are going to be there. It's going to be a great, great time. You know, and don't forget the fan meetup. The Big Man Comics presents San Diego Comic-Con 25 fan meetup. It's me, Chris, Alan, Nerdrotic. You guys come on down to Urban Coal-Fired Pizza. This is about 3 miles north of the convention center, I think. I had it like 4 blocks away from the convention center for years. Diane Francis says, good morning. Hello, Diane Francis. Hello, guys. Hit the like, hit the share. Rem Dog is here. Hello. But yeah, hit the like, hit the share, get everyone in here. My buddy, John, owns a bunch of restaurants in San Diego, and he's got an awesome one right next to the convention center. So I've had 8, 9, 10 parties there during Comic-Con for years. We did it for years before the lockdown, and then did it again last year. Finally, we're doing it again this year. And it's just a fun get together with fans and all that. It's awesome food and drink. It's a great place. But after like 20 years at that location, like 4 blocks from the convention center, he didn't get his lease renewed, so he moved like just 2 blocks away from there. But that location won't be open until November. So since he has other restaurants, the next closest one is in North Park. North Park is like a hipster, gentrified, you know, full of nightclubs and bars and restaurants kind of neighborhood. It's where like youngish single people with no kids all live in North Park. All the people in their 20s and 30s and even into their 40s who are either not married and don't have kids, that's where they live. And it's just filled with restaurants and nightclubs and bars. It's a party area, but for a little bit older, not college or high school people partying, but you know, 20s, 30s, 40s. Anyway, that's where we're going to have it at Urban Coal-Fired Pizza. It's a giant place that's a restaurant, but also a bar at night and all that. It's very big. It's a cool location. So we're going to have that there. You guys come in, hang out, meet us. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very, very excited to share this event with you guys. It was amazing last year. We sold the place out completely. You know, it was filled. Even the patio stuff out on the sidewalk, that was filled. So, and there's an Eventbrite to get tickets. And those went fast last year when we announced that was gone in an hour or two. So if you were on my mailing list, we already sent out an email with the link to get the Eventbrite tickets. See, we didn't tell everyone that was out, and that's a benefit for being loyal and being on my email list and all that stuff. So we did that, but the actual Eventbrite for the public, that'll now be released today. We're going to have, and you know, Nerdrotic and Chris and Alan and all that, we'll have tweets and things like that showing, okay, click here and go get it, because when those are gone, they're gone. And I'm thinking of printing up some like commemorative posters or something for this event. Would you guys like that? Let me know. I was thinking of doing that maybe, because if you get on the Eventbrite, then you get a wristband when you come in. And maybe if you have a wristband, you can get a poster. I'm not sure. I was talking to my wife about it this morning. We're trying to figure it out. You know, I mean, being there and seeing you guys, that's a nice thing. But I want to make sure that you guys have a great time. You know, that's what we're always trying to do for you guys. We're always trying to entertain. Sometime Diane Francis says yes. So Diane, are you going to be there? So yeah, follow me on social media. I'll be putting out the link for the event right after the show. I'll do that a little bit later this afternoon. So, but I woke up late today. So I haven't worked yet. That's terrible. It's already 11 o'clock and I haven't really worked yet. I usually get up very early. Very early for an artist is like 8 o'clock. That's very early for an artist. That's when I usually wake up, is 8 o'clock, sometimes 7:30. But today I didn't get out of bed till after 9. Not great. So Diane Francis says, hopefully I'll try. Oh, that'd be great to see you there. Yeah, I want to see everybody there. It's going to be an awesome time. I want to talk about a little bit about Superman the movie, which is making I love that there's arguing and debate about it, because it's the good kind. It's not the hateful, crazy arguing that goes on with people. It's the kind of conversations that you would have uh, in a comic book store. It's the kind of stuff that you just have like it's a debate. And I want to know if any of you guys saw it. Box office: Superman saves the day for DC Studios with 125 million domestic opening, 220 million globally. I was asked to be on a news program on Friday, Grant Sinchfield's program on Real America's Voice. I've done plenty of spots on his show. And one second. He wanted me to come on and talk about the new crappy woke Superman. And I said, hey, Grant, I've heard it's actually not woke, and I've heard it's actually pretty good. Why don't you let me go down to the movie theater and watch this, and then I'll come on your show tonight. So this was Friday. So I ran off to the movie theater, and I watched it, and it wasn't woke. I knew it wouldn't be. I just had a feeling that it wouldn't be. So the debate that's going on about this is just a matter of taste. Hold on, let me see this here. Oh, it's just a matter of taste. Can I get both of these on here? I don't know. Should I even do that? Doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess I could scoot this one over. But the debate that's on here is a matter of taste. Like, oh, I didn't like this comic book story choice I made. I did like this, but it's not, oh, Warner Brothers hates us all and thinks that because we are to the right of Stalin and Mao Tse-tung that we're all somehow bigots. That's the discussion we're not having. And to me, it's like, yeah, I know that's a low bar. But after 15-ish years of insanely intense wokeism, maybe a little less than 15, more like 12, it's a breath of fresh. It's like breathing is good, right? But you don't think about it and you don't appreciate it. Be underwater for a minute. Hold your breath for a minute. And then you come out. Be thirsty for 3 hours and no access to water. That glass of water is really good. On a normal day, water is just water. So the fact that the movie is not woke and it's just fun and entertaining, it is like that breath after a long hold of your breath. It is like that water after a long hot time with no water. So yeah, my opinion and all that is skewed. And Master Swag King says, watching it today. I'd love to know what you think. I want to know what everyone thinks. I do think you should see it. Because remember, guys, what I'm doing here with Big Man Comics is I'm making entertainment that is entertaining. It's entertainment. I want you guys to have a great time and remember it and get excited and discuss it and debate it with your friends. Oh, I loved Gabe's comic when they did this, but oh, you like that? Well, I didn't like that. He should have this. And I love that. I love all the fandom and the people talking about things. I want people invested. I want people to love things. I want people to hate things. I want them to be passionate. The worst thing you could do when you're an artist and you express yourself is nobody cares. That's worse than it being bad. At least when it's being bad, people care. But if you make stuff and no one cares, that's even worse, So I'll shrink that here so it's a little bit, you can read the whole thing. We have a fan meetup on Saturday the 26th at Comic-Con. And but I'm discussing Superman here. I always tell people to watch things for them. Let's see. I always tell people to watch things for themselves. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a great thing that the current dialogue about this movie is the storytelling choices and nothing about politics. That's a great thing. And if you agree or disagree, that's fine. And should not be the end of the world. Yeah, there are things in it where, and I won't spoil anything because you're going to go see it, Master Swag King, but some people say, oh, well, this character wasn't strong enough in the movie. He should have kicked that guy's butt or done this, or this guy should have done that. That's a fine debate to have, and that's just a matter of taste. If you watch Steven Seagal movies from the 80s and 90s, his first, most of his movies, when he fights people, if you pay attention, he never gets hit almost ever. He just goes up to people and throttles them, just throat chops and punches and kicks and all this, and he beats the crap out of people with no resistance, Steven Seagal. And it works for him because he's kind of this ridiculous action movie star character back then in the 80s and 90s. And I saw some people complaining that some people in the new Superman movie couldn't just slam everyone like a door. You know what I mean? So That's just a matter of taste. That isn't wokeism or anti-Christian or anti-American stuff. So I think it's great. I enjoyed it. And you guys, you got to remember the entire reason I left DC Comics was because they were asking me to use my God-given amazing talents to make woke, hateful left-wing Superman stories. And I said, no, you want to do that, do it without me. And I stood on principle like a man and walked away from there. So yeah, so I think because this movie doesn't do that, that's a great thing. People saying, well, I didn't like this character. It wasn't, his personality seemed different from the comic. All of that's fine debate, and you're entitled to that opinion, and that's a good thing. The movie should get that reaction from people. What it shouldn't get is you are a Nazi because you hate immigrants and all that hubbub about, oh, Superman's an immigrant and all this, that, and the other that like the director or his brother or whatever said in public. It doesn't even, like, quite literally, there's not one scintilla, not one microsecond where that's mentioned or comes up in the movie. So why did some of the people behind this movie do that in public? It's so dumb. Diane Francis says, I hope to go see the movie today, my day off. Yeah, check it out. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. And a day, the best time to have off of work, even as a self-employed person like me, who I can do whatever the hell I want, whenever I want, schedule-wise. I always meet my deadline, so you notice that. Since I was a little boy, I loved being like if I stayed home from school when you had a sniffle. I didn't miss much school at all until I was a senior in high school. I missed a lot of school when I was a senior in high school. The best thing was being like a third, fourth, fifth grader, and you had a sniffle, wink, wink, and your mom let you stay home, and she took you to the mall with her at like 10 a.m. and you went to the food court and had lunch at like 10:30 or 11 in the morning, and like almost nobody's there, and it's just like peaceful and quiet, and there's like the parking lot isn't packed. There's no crazy hustle and bustle. There's something I really love about the world being sort of empty when I was out and about being off of work or off of school when you're not supposed to be. Like being off of work on Saturday and Sunday is fine. It's like it feels restful, and I'm grateful for that. But it just feels better to be off of work on a Monday or a Wednesday, right? I work for myself, and I live in San Diego, and the weather here is near perfect year round. And I take a lunch, I take a exercise walk every day around noon. And I don't want to go back to work every day after I take that walk because the skies are blue. It's like 68 degrees or 71 degrees, and it's just shining, sunny skies. And I don't want to go back to work, but I do. But almost every day, I don't want to go back to work after lunch. Let's see. Also, nothing. So we're going back to Superman now and talking about how it's not woke. You may not like it for story choices, but that's legitimate. That's a matter of taste. Also, nothing in the trailer seemed off. Yeah, nothing in the trailer seemed off. And I do think this, a lot of people, justifiably so, and no one more than me, have been very angry and very insulted and very much had your feelings hurt by Disney and Warner Brothers, all these companies that are American. There are companies, and then they turn around and call us Nazis for the last 15 years. That's insulting, and it infuriates you at them, which is understandable. I don't blame you for feeling that way. I feel the same way too. And when I say no one more than me, I'm the one who worked his ass off his whole life to get a job being a comic book artist at DC Comics. Do you have any idea how hard that is? Less people play in the NBA. Less people make comics than play in the NBA. Less people make comics successfully than are in the NFL. Less people make comics successfully than are movie stars. Do you understand? There are a few dozen jobs that pay well in comics, and I earned it. That's how good I am. That's how hard I worked. God bless me. And I walked from it like that because I didn't want to make their woke crap. So yeah, there's a part of me that's very hurt by them about that, very angry at them about that. But it turned out for the better. Big Man Comics is way better for me, and I'm making much better art. But when you're mad at these companies for so long, you're biased. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of the reaction I'm seeing from the people who've been talking out against woke, as I have, I think they're biased. I think the first trailer comes out, oh, that sucks. This sucks. Crypto, the super dog. And it's just like sometimes when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And I think people are ready for this to be woke, and it's not. And then they're caught off guard. They don't know how to react because it isn't woke. So this sucks or that sucks. And it's like, does it though? It's just fun entertainment. That's all. And let's see. Sorry you had to leave your job, but you have morals that you stood up for. Of course. There's no other way to live. Also, people forget the director could say something, but the movie could never have that in there. Yeah. Let's see. And then Antonia says Rob Zombie would release trailers that had nothing to do with film. I don't know about that. If that's true, that's weird. I don't watch horror movies. I don't like them. I think they're terrible. I don't think they're uplifting. I don't see any reason to watch people getting cut to pieces like that. Never. I wasn't allowed to watch them when I was little, so I never got a taste for them. And as an adult, I'm like, I saw a couple horror movies. I'm like, who cares? But if you like them, float your boat, go for it. Adrian E. She's no longer Mad Moxie for some reason. She's Adrian E. There we go. It's my wife. But yeah, I'm really glad the discourse about this is about just storytelling, nerdy stuff, and not we're not going down the same tired road of these companies just insulting us. And I do understand people having that momentum of being against wokeness and everything is woke, and they ruin your childhood by wokeifying every last thing. Star Wars, Ghostbusters, all of it. They ruined all of it, and they have. Guilty as charged. It's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, only in reverse, right? It's the company that cried woke, and they were woke. You know what I'm saying? They were woke over and over and over, and now they're not, and everyone's like, "No, you're still woke. F off." And they're not, though, and that sucks for them. But you know what? They earned it. They earned it. I don't have much sympathy for them about that. You earned that. You want to do that for years and think you're just going to get away with it and be insulting, and wear it. You earned it. The thing I get annoyed at is when people mention comic books, and we know for sure they have not read Superman comic books. I mean, not only did I read Superman comic books, I made them. I kind of know the characters pretty well. And I don't think there's anyone in recent history that has done more work with Guy Gardner than me and the people I worked with. And even the artists and writers rotated, and I didn't. I was in the Guy Gardner books for a good 4 or 5 years straight, and different artists and writers came, and I kept coloring those books. So I got to know that character really well, and they nailed him in the movie. And that goofy haircut is actually pretty funny. So, yeah, most of the Superman they know is movies and television. Yeah, there's something to be said with how it used to be. Before Iron Man and the Spider-Man movies of 20 years ago, before that stuff blew up, I think the comic book art form and industry was better off, and it would be better if there were not comic book movies and television shows in general. I think the way it was for years where there was Superman in 77, 78, and then 10 years later, there was Batman in 89, and then 10 years later, there was Spider-Man in 2000 or 2001 or whatever the hell it was. I think one iconic superhero movie every 10 years keeps the art form of comics much healthier than all of that Hollywood attention and money, because inevitably, when you have the Hollywood attention, you have the Hollywood money, it will affect the printed magazines, the actual comic books themselves, because everyone is just vibrating with nervous energy of like, oh my gosh, could mine be a movie? Could mine be a movie? Could mine be a TV show? I admit, I think about that. I look at like Empyrean and Tyrus, like, these are TV shows. These are movies. They're that good. The stuff I'm doing, Dean Cain, All American Lawman, that's a movie. For sure it is. I wrote a great movie there, and I didn't write it as a movie like, oh, I hope I get a movie deal, but I do hope I get a movie deal on that. It's great. It's fun. It's entertaining. And when I write these things, I look at movies. I don't look at comics when I write these things. I look at novels too. They're novels that I love, but I look at movies when I write these graphic novels. So I think Hollywood has been a net negative on the art form of comics. I really think it has. It's been a positive for the awareness of the art form, but it hasn't increased sales. It hasn't at all. And over the course of comic book movies dominating the culture, comic book sales have just fallen and fallen and fallen. So it isn't great. Let's see. Sorry to clarify. It's when people say he wouldn't do X thing from comics. Yeah, those comic book store arguments are fine with me. I see some people getting nasty and then telling each other to F off on Twitter and social media, getting crazy about it. It's like, to me, it's like no mayo or extra mayo, or no tomato or add tomato. Like, you shouldn't tell someone to F off because they like tomatoes on their sandwich and you don't. I hate tomatoes on sandwiches. I have a very strange relationship with tomatoes, but I realized that I'm not alone. I want to start an organization called PART, People Against Raw Tomatoes. I love ketchup. I love barbecue sauce. I love spaghetti sauce. I love the red sauce that you make a stew with tomato. I love everything made out of tomatoes, but I hate tomatoes themselves just cut fresh. They're so gelatinous and goopy. They feel like you're eating an organ, like you're eating an eyeball. They're horrible. And they don't have too much taste, tomatoes. You got to cook them and break down some of those sugars and things like that. And then they really start to get this amazing umami, as they say. But that's just my taste. I had my grandma's sister would take a tomato like an apple. It is fruit. And put salt on it and just eat a tomato like an apple. Loved it. So should I just fight with her and, oh, you fucking idiot, blah, 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 tomato? Like, no, it's just a matter of taste. So I was talking to Nerdrotic, Gary, yesterday. I was talking to him about this. We were texting, and I told him, I'm so happy that the discourse is nerdy comic book shop arguing. Who would win in a race, Superman or the Flash? Well, in issue 378, like, those are good arguments to have. That means you're passionate, you love this stuff. Again, when the dialogue is all, hey, Warner Brothers said we're all Nazis, that's horrible when it's going that way. It's horrible. So I'm happy with this movie. It's just excitement. It's just fun. People nitpick things, and they're allowed to, man. There is no spoilers. I won't say it. I'll just dance around it. So cover your ears if you don't want to hear something for the next 15 seconds. There is a lore bending thing that got some people really mad. I hope it's a red herring in the sequel. I do think it was dumb writing. There's one thing I was like, that's stupid. But there's an obvious thing where it could not be true in a sequel, like very obviously. And if you had to bet money, if I had to put my own cash down, $1,000, I would say it's not true and that they're going to undo it in the second movie because of I'm a writer. And like, just from a writing standpoint, it makes sense that it's a lie. It makes total sense it's a lie. And it's really not probable that it isn't. And I'll stop there. So. See this? Here's the argument. Flash versus Superman in terms of speed. Flash wins every time. Well, that's not true because blah, blah, blah. Like, I love those kind of arguments because they're funny to me. Because at the end of the day, they don't matter. They're just for fun. It's like guys sitting around arguing about their football team, right? Well, the Raiders beat the Broncos 7 times in a row, but then last time they played, they beat them by 15 and this and that. That's all this is. It's the same thing. I'd like to have a library of comics. Got a few from Ripa. That's how I got introduced to Gabe. Oh, well, thank you, Antonius, for being here. Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be very expensive for you to get originals, but there's graphic novels of everything you want to check out. I can make recommendations. I'll put that up on my social media eventually. The top 10 graphic novels you should have. Yeah, if you want to get into comics, maybe the top 10 graphic novels you should buy so you can get a taste of all kinds of great stuff. And if you want to talk great graphic novels, there's endless stuff. There's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things I could recommend that are so good. Like any art form, there's a lot of crap, but the good stuff is good. Because that's the thing people don't want to admit. Even if someone is woke or left-wing or right-wing or whatever they are, can we just all forget about that and realize most of the people doing this love it and are trying to do a great job, Let's see. Yes, please recommend Gabe. I don't know. Yeah, if I ever post lists like that, I'll post it to all my social media. I'll just post it to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'll post it to YouTube community posts. I'll post it everywhere when I do. That's what I try and do. So, but yeah, I'm very happy with this. I think it's a good thing. And people would say like, someone got mad at me on Twitter and they're like, oh, well, he doesn't say truth, justice, the American way. It's truth, justice, in the human way. I wouldn't have gone to the theater if he said that in the movie. I quit working at DC Comics over that and over the underage sexuality stuff they wanted me to help them do in the comic. But it doesn't come up in the movie. See, that's the thing. When they ask the director or whatever, like, oh, this and that, and he starts talking about the human way slogan, and the other guy's like, if you don't love immigrants, you're not American. That's not the American way, and all this shit. And if I was their boss at Warner Bros., I'd be like, shut up. If someone asks you that says right-wing people are mad about Superman or something, just say, hey, you know what? I love all the customers. We don't get to do this without them. And that's not a lie, and that's not a platitude, and that's not ass kissing to make money. It's the truth. I don't get to do this, work from home. I don't get to draw. That's what I do for a living. I draw and I write and I color. That's what I do because of you guys. God bless me. But it's because of you guys buying this stuff, subbing the channel, giving super chats, following me, liking my tweets, all that. It's because of you guys. Why would I ever call you guys bigot, Nazi, weirdo? Like, why would I do that? That's crazy. So I think if you're asked in public and you're working for someone else, Warner Brothers, unless you plan on quitting, just say great things about the customers because it is true. It's not a lie. It's not butt kicking, butt kissing. Like you wouldn't have this money and these successes and these opportunities without the customers. So any recommendations on Wolverine line? Well, if you want amazing art, you got to go back to the late 80s, early 90s. And Mark Silvestri had a run there on Wolverine that is, boy, it's good. I think much like movies, just like movies and television, the golden age is the 70s, 80s, and a pinch of the 90s. That's the golden age of storytelling because we had the skill. The skill was the state of the art. We had the special effects, talking movies. But the writing was up there. The acting was up there. We had matured as people, as artists in all of our disciplines, writing, television, movies, comic books, the 70s, the 80s, and into the early 90s. So the first half. And but wokeness hadn't ruined everything yet. There's always been wokeness. There's the communists started in the 1800s. They've been working on this shit for a long time, almost 200 years now. But you can't really smell it in the old stuff. So yeah, Mark Silvestri's late 80s, early 90s Wolverine is insane. Of course, Jim Lee, my boss and the guy that inspired me to be a comic book artist, he does some high number X-Men stuff. Back then it was like X-Men 256 is his first issue, and he goes up to the 270s or the 280s. So he has a run there for some issues. And then he was so popular at the time, Marvel Comics took the opportunity to relaunch a second X-Men title just called X-Men instead of Uncanny X-Men, which is what he was working on. And it was drawn by him, written by Chris Claremont, and it's the highest selling comic of all time, 8 million copies. And if you want gorgeous illustration, that's like peak Jim Lee right there. If you want amazing, like if you love science fiction and mystery, things like where it's, you know, the concept of the monster of the week, like the Twilight Zone. Star Trek has the adventure, the alien of the week. The X-Files has the monster of the week. If you want something that hits that and does it at the highest level, there's a book that Jim Lee Studio, Wildstorm, put out. It's my favorite, one of my favorite comics of all time, Planetary. Written by Warren Ellis, illustrated by John Cassidy. Rest in peace, John Cassidy was a great artist. Colored by Laura Martin. They're the same creative team the whole time. Only did like 25 or 26 issues, but it took them like 4 or 5, 6 years to do all 26. It was pretty slow coming out, that book. Thrilling. There's an overarching story through all like 20 or 30 issues, but each issue is like the crazy sci-fi, weirdo, Doctor Who, X-Files, Twilight Zone, like crazy situation of the week. Planetary is so good. The greatest comic book of all time. It's over 3,000 and something pages, so you got to buy them in these big black and white phone books. Akira from Katsushiro Otomo. It's a Japanese comic, and they have it in English, so you don't have to worry if you don't speak Japanese. It was done back in the 80s, and it was made into a movie in 1988, one of the greatest animated movies of all time. Akira, I think as an artist and writer myself, I appreciate it so much because of the quality and the verisimilitude of how the story and the art, and they all just go together. Like Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, his harmonies, you know, those 5 vocal harmonies going at once and all the stuff. I think that Katsushiro Otomo is the Brian Wilson of comics. No one has a story where the pacing, the dialogue, the art, the theme, all of it just harmonizes so perfectly. Of course, you have the 2 1986 masterpieces from DC Comics, Watchmen by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, and then you have The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. Those are comics that changed the course of the comic book. Everything by Will Eisner, our highest awards in our industry. The books I've worked on for DC Comics and one other publisher, 3 of them were nominated for Eisner Awards. That's our Oscar. 2 of them won. So I am a sort of a co-winner of 2 Eisners, even though they didn't put the colorist name on the award. The books I worked on did win the Eisner twice. Everything by Will Eisner is outstanding. He's a master, one of the masters of comics. He started working, way back in the 30s and the 40s. He's a World War II veteran. I don't know. Did he work in the 30s or 40s? Maybe he started after World War II. I don't know. I don't know his biography, but I know his oeuvre. I know his library because I have every single graphic novel he ever did. There's only like 15 or 20 of them. He did tons of other comics too, The Spirit and this, that, and the other, and I don't have those. But his original graphic novels that he wrote about slice of life, about going off to World War II, about living in New York City growing up, I have all those. Will Eisner, his entire library is just insane. It's so good. So that's a starter there if you want to get. And then Darwin Cook, rest in peace, one of the great artists. He loved this author who's one of my favorite authors. Donald Westlake is a crime fiction author who's also very funny. Brilliant madcap capers, all a lot of them were set in the late 50s, the 60s, the 70s, because that's when he was writing his books. He wrote up until his had books released up until maybe some after his death in 2008. But Donald Westlake, amazing writer going back to the late 50s, and he wrote Parker. Jason Statham and Jennifer Lopez did a version of Parker. Lee Marvin did Point Blank back in the 60s. That's a Parker novel. There have been many movies made of his books, but there are some graphic novels that Darwin Cook did before he died. He was translating the Parker novels into graphic novels from IDW. The Man with the Getaway Face is a great one. Like, you should get out. There's only 4. He was doing one a year, and there's 26 of them. So it would have taken him into his 70s to finish the whole thing. But the Parker novels are just the best. You know, Parker is so good. One of my, I listen to audiobooks while I draw and color. I'm listening to a Alan Grofield novel. Alan Grofield is a sidekick of Parker in some of the heist caper novels. Parker's a criminal. He's a thief, but he's like the good guy somehow. He fights even worse people, and he robs from bad people. And I guess he robs from innocent people too, but he doesn't rob people. He'll rob like a bank or like a treasury or things like that. Anyway, the Parker novels are thrilling. They're awesome. He's a master criminal. But Alan Grofield, I'm listening to an Alan Grofield novel right now. I'm almost through it. I started it yesterday, and I'm almost through it working on this stuff that I'm coloring up and drawing. Alan Grofield is this really handsome ladies man, and he's an actor, and he doesn't like TV or movies. He acts in like community theater, and he owns a barn in Indiana where he puts on a bunch of plays. And the only reason he helps Parker steal and get all this money is he can fund his theater, and that makes it really funny. So I don't even remember why I started talking. Oh, because I was recommending comics. The Parker graphic novels, they haven't made any like since he died, obviously, the artist that was illustrating and translating those. But those are some of my favorites. What else do I like? I'm recommending comics here. There's a 1995-96 series written by Mark Waid and painted by Alex Ross called Kingdom Come. That's a great one. It takes place in the far future of DC Comics. You have the older gray-haired Superman and everything's changed. That's outstanding. What else is really good? There's those Marvel Essential Digest. They're big black and white phone books, so they're cheap. They printed these back in the 90s. I don't know if they still print them now. But it was a Marvel Essential Spider-Man. And the original like 50, 60, 70 issues of Spider-Man from like 1962 and on, or whenever they started it, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, John Romita Sr., they're so charming. They're actually really good. They're really fun. I would check those out so you can get a flavor of what Marvel Comics was when it started, you know. But those would be my recommendations there. There's just endless stuff to read, man. There's so much good stuff. There's so much crap, but that's any art form. Like, think about movies. There's just endless shit, right? But there's also some gems in there, you know, so some real gems in there. As a side, y'all hear that Keanu might be making Constantine too. I'm not a fan of Constantine. Remember, I don't like horror stuff or demonic stuff or anything like that. I don't like stuff like that. I saw the movie. It was interesting and, well made, but it's not my cup of tea. It's not my thing. Love Keanu. I haven't seen John Wick 4 yet. I need to go see John Wick 4. And I guess that new John Wick 5, the ballerina movie, failed. I need to check those things out. And I guess there was a miniseries TV, but I don't have streaming, so I don't think I could watch it anyway. But a fan of John Wick, if you love ultra action violence, it's fun. It kind of reminds me of Mad Max Fury Road, of Dread, of The Raid, of those things. That's what John Wick reminds me of. Just fast-paced, neck-break action. You know what I mean? So, and tomorrow night on Double Impact with my buddy, my co-host Jericho Green, we're not reviewing a movie. We're going to debate our top 4 or top 5 movies and try and pick a winner. I told Jericho, give me your top 5 action movies of all time. And I'm going to have my top 5, and we're going to debate and pick the best one out of that. So, and since you guys are here, I'm going to give you a treat. I'm going to show you what I was working on last night. So the campaign for Empyrean Earth Illuminated launches on the 24th, just like a week and a half from now. And hold on, let me show you what I put together. The last piece of art I needed to put together was this. Hold on, open that up. The poster that you can get with it. So we have the comics, the different covers. We're going to have a t-shirt. It's awesome. But here's the poster. Check that out. That's going to be a glorious 24 by 36 poster. It's going to be a beautiful thing. And this is just a low-res JPEG of it here. But yeah, I sent it up. I put it in a Dropbox, got it to my printer, and we'll have some of these at Comic-Con you can pick up. But yeah, for the campaign, there's going to be multiple covers, t-shirt, and autograph covers will be available, and also a poster. So we're going to have all kinds of stuff for you. It's going to be awesome. Sup, amigos. Sorry I'm late. Yeah. Oh, you changed your name. I always tease you about how long your name was. Let's see. JW4 is good luck. What's JW4? Oh, John Wick 4. John Wick 4. But yeah, this is the poster. I finished coloring this up last night for Empyrean. So this will be the poster available. I think it's a great poster. It was a lot of fun to work on. I painted in that planet back there. I think it's got a real cosmic epic feel to it. I think it's a really fun poster. So yeah. Antonio says, looking good. Well, thank you. Thinking a Minneapolis cartoon for tomorrow, but I'm the mayor now. It's too obvious. Just do it anyway. Sometimes obvious is good. Sometimes that's what the audience is waiting for, Rim Dog. They're waiting for the confirmation bias. So you just have him like, I'm the mayor now, and to have that Somali flag they have in Minnesota now. What a joke. What an absolute joke. The Biden administration was just letting in all these people unvetted, illegally, claiming it allegedly, I'll say allegedly so I don't get in any trouble, allegedly falsely claiming asylum, in my opinion. Allegedly, I have to say that, and just flooding our country with tons of people that do not share our values will just change our culture. No, everyone is welcome here. Race, creed, religion, you're welcome here. You come here, you become one of us. You think like us, you act like us, you act American, and that's a set way. We don't start changing it to where you came from. There's a reason you came here. You came here because it's better here. The way we think and do things is better here. That's why you're coming here, because it works better here. Don't be doing the stuff in your country that didn't work, that drove you to come here. What kind of sense does that make? Ridiculous. Why would you even want to do that? It's like, oh, it's American, it's successful, but it's me. It's like that ego thing. It's that, but it's me. It's like, I did this. Like, oh, all the success of America, but really it was me. I saw a thing where they have a problem in Silicon Valley with Indian people, Indian immigrants getting high positions at tech companies, firing all the Americans, no matter what race they are, and then just hiring all their Indian friends. That's fucked up. That's racist. It's like, oh, it's us. We made this. That's like the woke people coming into Warner Brothers, DC Comics, all that. Like, all these great people made Marvel and DC and all this stuff. And then the wokies come in, kick all the normal people out and say, oh, look what we made. It's like, you didn't make shit. All you're making is a problem. And that I don't like that. You want to come to my country? The door is open for qualified guests that want to add something to it. So my dad did. He's an immigrant and he's added to it. My dad's very successful. He owns like 5, 6, 7 houses that he rents out. He did his own business for years as a freelance, gourmet chef, doing a lot of catering and stuff like that. And he made something of himself and pays a lot of effing taxes. Never broken the law. He's a good American, got his citizenship and everything, came here the right way. That's how you do it. You don't come here with your hand out saying, well, you can afford it. Nah, give me everything. Like, it doesn't matter what people say so much. It matters what they do. And I know what my dad did coming here. He came here and joined the team. Said, okay, follow the law, capitalism, got it. That's what he did. Came here, worked his ass off, follows the law. There you go. So yeah, don't come here and bring stupid ideas from your country that don't work. You can come here and bring cool ideas from your country that do work. I'm all about them bringing, and it seems trite, it seems small, but it's not. It's important. The food, that's interesting. If you got your little dances and holidays and your folk songs and all your culture's fine, but your system of government and economics, it's an abject failure from where you're from. Don't bring that here. Goodness. Antonio says, your dad and my grandparents. Right. Yeah, that's the little word game that the left always wants to play with non-leftist people. It's like, well, we love immigrants. You people hate immigrants. Like, none of us hate immigrants. We hate the concept of illegal immigrants jumping the line and taking. And even if an illegal immigrant comes here and works hard, that still doesn't matter. They broke the law by being here. Oh, it's a misdemeanor to cross the border and blah, blah, blah. No. It's a felony to be here illegally and not tell the government you're here, not tell them what you're up to when you're coming and going. That's what I've been told, allegedly, that it's a felony. I don't have that top of mind right now, like what the actual code number is and the law. But no. You're not allowed to do that. On principle, that's breaking the law. You can't do that. What about people like my dad that did it the right way? People that waited for years, people that spent thousands of dollars and this, that, and the other. You're not just entitled to live here. I'm sorry. I live in a nice place. Okay. I'm doing very well. I'm not trying to brag, but there are nicer houses than mine. There are mansions on the hill, things like that. And I don't live there. So should I just go kick in a door and say, I live here now. I'm entitled to live here. I'm entitled to have whatever I want because I have less than you. So because I have less than you, Mr. Multi-billionaire, now I get what you have because I want it and you have it and I don't. No, if I want that, then I need to do what he did. And then I can have it too instead of him. But that's not the way resentment works, right? So yeah. But that's how it is. So guys, let's see. What do we got here? Here's something. What happens if you go to North Korea illegally? What happens if you go anywhere illegally? You're not allowed to go to any country and just say, all right, what do you guys got for me? I'm hungry. What you got to eat? A little money would be nice too. You got any welfare for me? Like, I can't just show up. I couldn't do it in Mexico. I couldn't go 20 miles south where I live right now, cross that border and just start asking for shit. Could I? Of course not. Does that mean that Mexicans are the Mexican people are racist that hate me because I'm American or whatever? America's not even a race. No, it wouldn't. It means they have law and order in the country. And it's not a buffet where I can just show up and take things. My goodness. So don't fall for that guilt. They try and guilt us Americans because they know we're good, hardworking, industrious people. And what lazy people who are filled with avarice and envy always do, they're always watching the hardworking people like us out of the corner and they go, oh, that guy's hardworking. He's probably a dope that's generous, hardworking, and he's not going to stop working hard because he likes succeeding. So if I can just leech onto that a little bit, I can siphon off some of his money all the time and hand it out to charity. Oh, and by the way, I run the charity and I need a big old fat salary, blah, blah, blah. Like you saw what Elon Musk, thank God for what he did with USAID. He exposed what we all knew. All this USAID and all that. Oh, we're helping countries. Bullshit. You're helping yourself and your friends. I'll just make up a scenario. You're sending books to Uganda. And then you're charging the government $80 million for these books that are probably worth $5 million. And then your brother runs the company that prints and distributes the books. So you and your brother get all rich there. That's how the scam works. You look at the city, they build stoplights and sidewalks and all this. And inevitably it's going to be, and I'm making this up, I'm not saying this about San Diego. This is a fictitious city that doesn't work. A scenario that could allegedly happen. The mayor, the city council, oh, my brother builds stop signs. My brother paves streets. His company does it. We'll give him the bid. And then the bid is 10 times higher than it should be. The work is done sloppily and poorly, and it's just grift. This stuff is everywhere, and it's not American. This is in every government everywhere. Elon Musk pointed out, and that's why they hate him, So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to skedaddle a little bit early because I got late to work today. That was my political rant. I like Superman. I love that the argument about Superman is a comic book shop nerdy argument and not a wokeism argument. We got a lot of stuff coming from Big Man Comics, and I want you guys to go to bigmancomics.com right now. What if you went there right now? Let's see. Hold on. Let me drag these over here. What if we went to Big Man Comics right now and we checked it out? And we found out some interesting things about the website. We found out that the book is coming July 24th for the crowdfund. The book already exists. Guys, the book is done. It's written, it's drawn, it's colored. It's at the printer. Oh, I got an email from the printer that thousands of copies are heading my way right now. So I'm loading up on some copies now. And then as we do the 60-day campaign, I'll do another order for printing. But I want to have stuff in hand so we hit the ground running. So that's how I want to do things. I want to make sure you get this stuff on time when it comes out. But yeah, this is Big Man Comics right here. Empyrean Earth Illuminated crowdfunding, $724.25. You click on this link here, you can get on the newsletter. These are some example covers of things I'm working on. You can get yourself a t-shirt, but head over there and do that. Guys, follow me on X. I'm Big Man Comics. On Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Right here, I'm Gabe El Taib. You can see how to spell that right there. And on TikTok, I'm Big Man Comics 1. And guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 11 to noon. I'm leaving 10 minutes early today. I got some stuff to do. Monday through Friday, 11 to noon. And then Tuesday night, 7 to whenever we're done, a movie review comedy show with my great friend, Jericho Green. Guys, hit the like. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.